CoQ10 is used in our electron transport chain within our mitochondria to produce ATP, or energy, for our cells and then for our body. It's also a great antioxidant, so you can imagine it has a bunch of potential use cases for supplementation. However, are we getting the right dose in IM8 or AG1? Again, AG1, an unknown dose of CoQ10, so it's negligible in my opinion. For IM8 though, we have 100 milligrams. Is that enough for certain indications of CoQ10 supplementation? Well, for high blood pressure, some people have noted that CoQ10 can cause a positive effect. One study specifically showed about a 5-point decrease in systolic blood pressure due to CoQ10 supplementation with 100 to 200 milligrams per day. So right about there for IM8 at that low end at 100 milligrams. Another study demonstrated that CoQ10 can also help with fatigue, which again makes sense based on its use in the electron transport chain. However, they also showed a dose-dependent effect in this study, with higher doses causing a higher effect on fatigue, and specifically 300 to 500 milligrams per day, giving us a greater anti-fatigue effect. Another study demonstrated that CoQ10 was beneficial for erectile dysfunction at 200 milligrams per day, and yet another study demonstrated that CoQ10 was great for migraine prevention, but most doses were upwards of 400 milligrams per day instead of just 100 milligrams. And finally, looking at CoQ10 for overall cardiovascular disease prevention, which is honestly one of the most important reasons to take CoQ10, a study demonstrated that it was great at reducing reactive oxygen species, great at improving nitric oxide production, and a lot of other mechanistic effects that improve cardiovascular disease risk, however, at 200 milligrams per day. So basically, I take all this data to mean that CoQ10 at 100 milligrams per day might have actually some beneficial effect. However, if you could just up it to 200 to 300 milligrams per day, you're likely going to get actually a lot of benefit from CoQ10. So I wish they really just would have included 2 to 3 times what they included.